The three mega banks all posted record profits for last fiscal year and forecast a fresh set of record profits for the coming fiscal year. And this is going to be, of course, the first full year without the dreaded negative interest rate policy that banks have hated and has been weighing down on their business for 7 or 8 years. And they're really in a good situation right now, obviously, with rising rates at home. They're still benefiting from high rates abroad. And there's buoyant stock market here in Japan. Japanese banks have been selling their cross-shareholdings. They've pledged to sell more of those, and they're actually booking healthy gains on those sales because of the buoyant stock market here. And also, you know, the bank CEOs, when they spoke at their briefings, they were really touting the fact that they've been diversifying their businesses away from just pure lending into areas like investment banking. Mizuho's CEO talked about investment banking in the US doing very well, so they're getting more fee business, and so they're really in a good situation right now.
If they're in a good situation, how does that also translate into shareholder returns? And are shareholders going to be satisfied, for instance, with the buybacks that have been announced?
Yeah, that's a good question, and we'll find out in about half an hour when the stocks start trading. You know, Mitsubishi UFJ and Sumitomo Mitsui both announced buybacks of around 100 billion yen. Which are probably a little bit on the small side, particularly with MUFG. One analyst at SMBC Nikko said the size of the MUFG's buyback was a negative surprise. And then Mizuho refrained from, or they held off on buybacks entirely this time, but that was actually to be expected because their capital situation isn't quite as high as the other two banks. So, yeah, quite modest buybacks, but I think there'll probably be more to come as the year progresses. So we'll just have to see how shareholders digest this first round.
Russell, were there any downsides to the results?
Yeah, I would say probably downside risks. The one downside is the fact that the Japan stock market rally has actually stalled a bit lately. You know, the stocks reached a record in March, but really haven't moved that much since then. So that might limit the gains that they make from cross-shareholdings and limit sort of the trading activity domestically. Another risk is, of course, if interest rates start falling, if and when rates start falling abroad, you know, that will sort of limit their interest income prospects on that front. So those are a couple of downside risks. And of course, you know, geopolitics, the CEOs spoke of those as being risks, but I think that's a risk for any corporate, you know, in this current environment.